live on the air. I'm Richard Sales.
This is wild.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lounge Time. I'm your host, Rich Sale. Week 1 is officially in the books. Everybody's got one game down, and we're on to week 2. Officially tomorrow, Chiefs-Chargers, Thursday Night Football, and we got some week 2 picks we're going to get into later in the show. So, before we do week 1 recaps, I want to make one quick announcement. I want to say to my loyal fans, subscribers, those that have been watching the show to start the season off. I am asking you guys to come up with your own lists. It could be top 10 list. It could be a greatest of all time list. It could be a list based on position. I'm going to let you, the fans, pick your own lists. I want you guys to get involved in the comments section. Write it down, okay? And the one list that I like the most, or that it is the most recommended, I will pick, and it will be the first bit of off-season content to start after the Super Bowl. Now, you guys are probably going to ask, when will I pick this list? After you guys write down your list of ideas in the comments section. I will pick it the week before the Super Bowl. Because there's a 2-week gap between the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl. Well, the Conference Championships and the Super Bowl. Okay? That's when I'm going to pick the list that either was picked the most, or that was highly requested the most, or it's the list that I like the most. But I want the fans, you loyal subscribers, to give me your ideas of what list you would like to see me make. Okay? And it will be the first bit of Lounge Time off-season content I will make after the Super Bowl. Okay? And it's got to be NFL related. That's another caveat. It's got to be NFL related. All right? We're not going to do an NBA list. I plan to save an NBA list for another time and later in the year, because you guys saw last week Joey was the NBA nerd, but I'm going to bring him back on later for more NBA topics later in the season, okay? But guys, give me your best NFL lists in the comment section. It could be a greatest of all time list. It could be by position. It could be a top 10. Give me all your ideas in the comment section. You can give me your best one. Just, you know what? Give me your best one. Best idea, okay, of a list you want me to do. And it will be the first bit of the off-season content I will do for Lounge Time. The choice is in your hands. So if you want to pause the video, write it down in the comments section what your suggestion would be for me to do from a list standpoint. No problem. Just let me know what you guys want to do. I'm giving you, the fans and loyal subscribers, an opportunity to give me an idea or ideas of what lists I should do. And it will be the first bit of all-season content after the NFL season ends. And I'll pick it the week before the Super Bowl. It's in your hands. So get some ideas cracking, and I'll let you guys know the week before the Super Bowl what I pick up with. Okay? So do what you guys got to do. Anyway, moving on. to the moment you guys have been waiting for. The first edition of the 2022 NFL season. Recapping with Rich. Week 1 action. Here we go. Started last Thursday night with the Bills and the Rams. Biggest takeaway of the day? Josh Allen is going to be a problem. Okay? And the reason I say this, just if you watched how he played Thursday night, he was 26 of 31 for 297 pass yards. He almost threw for 300. 3 touchdown passes. The 2 interceptions were not all on his fault. I watched this game very closely. The 1 interception, the first one, bounced off Isaiah McKenzie's hands and landed into the defender. That's more on the receiver than the actual pass. That's more on the receiver. It was in his hands, bounced off, went into the defender's hands. The second one, the defender just made a better play on the ball, made a better cut on the route. Okay? That's going to happen. Okay? But not on Josh Allen, any of those 2 interceptions. But here's the part that's scary. And this is the part that makes opposing defenses scared to face somebody like Josh Allen. We could talk about his physical gifts, like the strong arm, the mobility, the running out of the pocket to extend the play. And you could talk about all these crazy throws on the run he makes from the different arm angles. Probably not as insane as Mahomes does it, or not as flashy as Mahomes does it, but it's still highlight reel type plays. But here's the scary part. He's mastered his physical gifts as well as the mental standpoint now. Okay? And let me explain. When you see him at the line of scrimmage, I don't know if you guys watched Thursday night, he's talking at the line of scrimmage, identifying oncoming blitzers, the Mike linebacker, okay? The coverage and what's going on, and talking, obviously communicating with the receivers and the backs, tight ends. But he's commanding at the line of scrimmage like a Tom Brady, Peyton Manning would. I've never seen Josh Allen do that until Thursday night. And I know what I saw, okay? If he's got that type of command and that advantage from a film study, mental perspective to go along with his physical tools, whoo, yup, rest of the league's in trouble, okay? And if he's starting to get there with throwing from the pocket very well, getting the ball out quick, yeah, that's going to be a long year for opposing defenses because he's going to be tough to game plan for. Yep, he's going to be a problem, okay? If you got a quarterback that's able to know the game from an intellectual standpoint and to being able to understand his physical talents that he has, oh, yeah, it's going to be stressful to go up against him the next week or down the road. Trust me, okay? And the biggest thing about the Bills, they've got weapons everywhere. Devin Singletary, 8 carries, 48 yards, 6 yards a carry, okay? You had Stephon Diggs, who got the long touchdown, 8 catches for 122 yards and a touchdown. Gabe Davis, 4 catches, 88 yards and a touchdown. The guy who stepped up for the Bills in the playoff game against the Chiefs, where he had all those catches for 195 yards and 4 touchdowns, okay? I didn't even mention, they have the tight end, Dawson Knox. They have the 2 running backs, James Cook, the rookie from Georgia, Zach Moss. They put the ball on the ground a couple times, but they're more weapons for Josh Allen to work with. And then you have the 2 quick slot receivers, Jamison Crowder and Isaiah McKenzie. Isaiah McKenzie caught one of Allen's 3 touchdown passes, but you guys got to understand something. The Bills are loaded. And their offensive line, outside of the 2 sacks that Aaron Donald and Bobby Wagner had on him, they played great. Okay? And it's scary seeing that unit coming together the way they did and clicking on all cylinders. They couldn't miss. Okay? And offensively, we know they're a juggernaut. But defensively, Von Miller, boy, he was amped up. 2 sacks against his former team. And he was going against the very same lineman he played for half a season with. Okay, so he knows those linemen's weaknesses. 2 sacks on Matt Stafford, his guy, that he won a Super Bowl with just last season. Okay? He looked like 2015, 2016 Von Miller. It's insane. Okay? And he's, I want to say what? Easily in his early 30s. Whew. And he still looks like he's in his prime. Watch out. Okay? A.J. Epinenza, the other edge man, he had a sack and a half. Gregory Rousseau got his sack on the quarterback. Jordan Phillips, an interior defensive lineman. I know you guys watched the game. Did you see the spin move he had for a 300-pound defensive tackle? Ooh. Seriously. This is what happens when you have one guy that everybody worries about and they shift to him and you get one-on-one opportunities. That gives you a lot of confidence that that guy will occupy all the attention and you got a one-on-one battle to the quarterback. Boy, if you're an edge defender in Buffalo or an interior defender in Buffalo, you're going to like that you got a lot of one-on-ones. And I didn't even mention Ed Oliver. I didn't even mention him. He's the other defensive tackle. I mean, damn. They're deep in key areas too. They are deep. They're going to be a tough out. Okay? They had 7 sacks, 15 quarterback hits. Okay? They had 3 interceptions as a defense. Okay? And they didn't even have Tre'Davious White, an all-pro corner. Okay? They had 2 rookies in there that McDermott said he was confident in. They really helped him out. They made him look good for that. Okay? And here's the scary part. They were 9 of 10 on third down, the Bills offense. 9 for 10 on third down. That's insane. That's insane. 9 of 10 on third down. You won't win against them if you can't get them off the field on third down. And here's the thing that it's crazy they won by 21. They had 4 turnovers. Your only hope to beat the Bills, in my mind this season, is if you get Josh Allen and them off the field on third down and you cash in on turnovers. They had 4 and they still won by 21 points. They had 4 turnovers. The Rams just couldn't cash in any of the turnovers. The only hope you have is to get Josh Allen and that offense off the field on third down and take advantage off the turnovers by scoring points. That's your only hope. That's the only hope to beat a juggernaut team like the Bills are. I don't care if it's one game. That's the only way, based on the way they've played from the end of last season up till now. See if a team does it. I'll be watching. Speaking of the Rams, Matt Stafford. He played awful. Like some of the really bad games he had in Detroit. Okay? 29 of 41 for 240 pass yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Ouch. That's bad. And the only real back that got things going was Darrell Henderson. He was the only guy that could get the run game going. Okay? Cooper Kupp still looks like he's unguardable. I mean, I'm watching Thursday night how he's getting open. It feels like he's one step ahead of a defense. It's crazy. And he had 13 catches, 128 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, you might as well lock him in for fantasy next week, okay? because he's going against the Falcons. All right? Aaron Donald, Bobby Wagner had a sack each. The defense had 2 interceptions. But the offensive line, 7 sacks allowed on Matt Stafford. Now, let's put some context into this. The teams that did not play their starters in the preseason much really showed a lot of rust. And it's not just the Rams. We're going to get to a couple other teams down the road. But the Rams were one of those teams where the rust showed. You should have got a couple reps in the preseason. Okay? And this game showed. That offensive line, they needed time and game reps and game speed to get familiar. They lost Whitworth to retirement. Austin Blythe, the center's guard that they had, he's now with Seattle. 2 big linemen you guys lose in the offseason. That's something you're going to need some reps with, especially with a quarterback like Stafford, okay? The rush showed for them. 7 sacks allowed, though. I guess the only good thing you could say besides 7 sacks allowed and 3 turnovers that they had is you got to be glad that you got 10 days to correct this shit. That's really the only thing you could probably be happy with, is you have 10 days off to get all this stuff cleaned, okay? Because this game was bad if you're the Rams. This was bad as it gets, okay? But it's the first game. That's probably the other good thing too, okay? A lot of time to get this shit back on track. It's one game, but good, got it out of the way. Now you got 10 days to get your shit fixed. And Sean McVay, I know, will get it done. Saints and the Falcons. Jameis Winston, 23 of 34 for 269 and 2 touchdowns. Not bad, but not mind-blowing. Okay? Taysom Hill was their leading rusher. 4 carries, 81 yards, and a touchdown. And he's listed as a tight end. He's your leading rusher. I know Kamara was hurt, but that's a little odd, I'll say. Okay? Jarvis Landry looked like his Miami days when I seen the stat line. 7 catches for 114 yards. I mean, this is what you need if you're Jameis Winston. You need guys to step up. Michael Thomas, 5 catches, 52 yards. Not 57 yards, 2 touchdowns. He looks like the Michael Thomas before the injury. Now, he may not have the stat lines that he had from 2019 where he won Offensive Player of the Year, but he looked like the good version of Michael Thomas that the Saints had before he got hammered with all those injuries. Okay? And this is what Jameis Winston needs. Receivers to throw the ball to. They have the rookie Chris Olave. Didn't really do much, but Jarvis Landry and Michael Thomas really picked up the slack. You know, they gave up 4 sacks allowed. That's concern. They did lose their left tackle, Teron Armstead, to Miami. So that's a concern. I know they have the rookie Trevor Penning. I want to say he's at left tackle. I'm not sure. But I know that they drafted him to replace Armstead. But yeah, I know he's a guy that commits a lot of penalties. So there's some filling in he's got to do. Okay? The defense, Tyrann Mathieu, Bradley Roby, got a fumble recovery each. 4 of 13 they had on 3rd down. 8 penalties for almost a full football field. 99 yards. Let's be honest. They squeaked this game out. They were down, I think, double digits to the Falcons. And they snuck this game away. Now, I know these division rivalry games are crazy, but they squeaked this one out. This wasn't that impressive in my eyes. Okay? Just saying. Saints squeaked this one out. Let's get to the Falcons. Marcus Mariota, 20 of 33 for 215 through the air. Okay. He did have 12 carries for 72 yards and a touchdown. So he got a lot of action from running the ball and throwing it. Cordero Patterson did most of the heavy lifting, 22 for 120 and a touchdown. Drake London stepped up as the team's primary receiver, 5 catches for 74 yards. Now, Calvin Ridley's out for the year. This is what Drake London needs to do. Just wish Kyle Pitts stepped up for me because I had him in fantasy. Shit the bed Sunday. Okay? Grady Jarrett on defense, sack and a half. Of the 14 sacks they had on the day. There's moments where Grady Jarrett looks really good. Go back a couple of years ago to the playoff game against the Rams, the Super Bowl against the Patriots. He had really good games those times. This was one of those games where he stepped up and helped on the defense get some pressure on Jameis Winston. Okay? Now, offensively, they were 5 of 13 on third down. They did have 8 penalties for 55 yards. 8 penalties is still a lot. Okay? 2 turnovers they had on the day. 3 missed opportunities. Now, missed opportunities, you guys, is when they have miscues that resulted in points off the board. No, they don't take literal points off the board, but if those miscues don't happen, points go on the board. They had 3 missed opportunities. One of them was the missed field goal that got blocked late in the game, and 2 fumbles that happened. Mariota fumbled once, and I think Zacchaeus, the receiver, fumbled. Okay? So 3 missed opportunities. If one of them goes their way, we're having a completely different conversation about this game. 3 missed opportunities. That's a separation between not so great teams and the really good teams. The really good teams know how to cash in on missed opportunities and don't leave them on the board. The not so good teams have so many missed opportunities, they don't cash in. And that's where the difference between a good team from a great team is. The Falcons are just okay. They let this one slip away. Okay? They had the 3 missed opportunities they're going to have that come back to haunt them. All right? And they lost by 1. So you only need 1 of those missed opportunities to go your way. And 3 of them did not go their way. Okay? Speaking of upsets, Niners and the Bears. I know I'm going to get clowned. I said I trusted Trey Lance when I picked the game last Wednesday. I know. I'll take the L for this one. But here's the good news. It's only 1 week. But here's the thing they're probably talking about in the Bay Area right now. And I think we've seen it from his last preseason game and right now. To me, and maybe the Bay Area is talking a lot about this, Trey Lance doesn't look ready. I think that we see why they kept Jimmy Garoppolo on the roster. They don't have complete faith in Trey Lance. And that's a bad sign considering a team the Niners traded away 3 first-round picks when they selected him in 2021. 3 first-round picks they gave up for this kid to be the future of their team. And he doesn't look ready. And you keep Jimmy G on the roster because you don't have full faith in him to take the next step. That's concerning, okay? He was 13 of 28 for 164 yards, and he had an interception. Granted, I know the weather conditions were crazy. I saw before the game, okay? But that is not what you want to see to feel good about your young quarterback. Under 50% completion percentage, and he turned the ball over and didn't put the ball in the end zone. That's concerning for a team that's deep like the Niners from everywhere down but the quarterback. That's concerning, okay? Now, George Kittle was out. I know that's a big loss. He does it all from a tight end standpoint. But other guys got to step up against a team like the Bears. You got to step up. Deebo Samuel did that. 8 carries, 52 yards, and a touchdown. But guys like Jennings, and Brandon Ayuk and Jeff Wilson Jr., they got to step up and help Trey Lance out. He can't do it all. But the Niners this was a game they didn't look like themselves. They did average 5 yards a carry. I know. Nick Bosa, Samson Ebukam on defense got a sack each. That's a good sign. I expect this defense to be top 5 in the league. Hufanga, the safety, he was all over the field. He was making tackles. He had a pick. And then we look at the money down. 0 of 2 on 4th down. Over. They didn't cash in any of their 4th down attempts. 1 of 3 in the red zone, so 2 missed opportunities in the red zone to cash in points. You scored 10, 13 points. If one of them you cash in, it's a different conversation. Maybe both times. It's different. Okay? 2 turnovers in the rain. You got to learn how to win in sloppy weather conditions. It rains in San Francisco. Maybe not like that, but there's been times where it's rained close to that in other games. Remember the Colts game last year where it was like rainstorm? It rains in San Francisco. You got to get used to the rain, okay? 12 penalties for 99 yards, almost a full football field. 12 penalties. That's a lot for a team. They did not look like themselves at all this game, okay? Speaking of the Bears, let's go to Justin Fields. 8 of 17 for 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Now, I know people are saying, oh, he outplayed Trey Lance. Oh, he's that much better. I can't tell. He was okay. This was not a moment where he lit it up on him. No, he did a good job bringing the team back and helping a second half comeback, but no way by any means was he that much better than Trey Lance. If you want to say he's that much better, he had to be efficient, throw for like 300 plus yards. I would want to say 3 or 4 touchdowns and not turn it over. Even if he had 1 pick, I mean, you could say he would outplay Trey Lance, but that was not what happened. He only threw the ball 17 times and had 121 yards. Okay? Nothing to really say, oh, he outplayed Trey Lance. No. He's that much better. No. He's good. It's okay. Young quarterback's got to learn to be a game manager. If he was doing the game manager role, that's the perfect game manager stat line. Okay? But nothing mind-blowing. Okay? Khalil Herbert, their only real running back that got things going. 9 carries for 45 yards and a touchdown. Okay? Dante Pettis had a 51-yard touchdown. Okay? Equinemius St. Brown, he had an 18-yard receiving touchdown. Both of those touchdowns happened in the second half where, you know, for a team with the Bears who don't have a lot of weapons, when your number's called on, you got to make a play. Those guys did that. Okay? And speaking of the Bears losing Khalil Mack in the offseason, I didn't know who their pass rushers were going to be. I think they found one guy, Dominique Robinson. He had a sack and a half against the Niners, who were supposed to be a really good offensive line. What a way to start off the season. Okay? Eddie Jackson, one of the underrated safeties in football. He had an interception this game. 5 of 14 on 3rd down. Mainly look at that first half, how not so great you were. Second half, maybe the third, there were a couple bad 3rd downs, but you got to get better on 3rd down if you want to be better than just a shit team. Okay? Speaking of a crazy game, the Steelers and the Bengals. Now, let's be honest here. I caught the tail end of this game. I was watching another game, which I'm going to get to momentarily. Mitchell Trubisky didn't light it up. But for someone managing the game and not being told to, and for being told not to mess things up, he did his job. Okay? 21 of 38, 194 yards and a touchdown. Typical game manager stat line. Don't mess it up. Okay? He did that. Okay? Najee Harris had a receiving touchdown. Didn't really do a lot on the ground because of his foot injury, but I heard this week he's going to be good to go. Trust me. Steeler fans, don't worry. He's going to be fine. We'll get to TJ Watt's injury in just a moment. Pat Freiermuth, 5 catches for 75 yards. Deontay Johnson, 7 catches for 55 yards. He had that big catch in overtime. I don't know if you guys, well, those of you that like to watch highlights, or those of you that didn't see it, go watch the highlights of that game. He had an amazing toe tapping grab along the sideline, and he caught the ball along the sideline. I don't even know how he was able to have both things go on at the same time. I thought it was an incomplete live when I saw it, but it wasn't. But what a catch by Deontay Johnson in overtime, all right? Minkah Fitzpatrick. Speaking of underrated safeties, he's top 5 in the league in safeties, all right? He really is. I mean, Eddie Jackson's slept on because he's not on a good team. But Minkah's on a good team, and not a lot of people talk about how good Minkah Fitzpatrick is, all right? He had 14 total tackles this game, all right? 10 of them were solo tackles. He had a 31-yard pick six on Joe Burrow to start the game. And on top of that, he ends regulation with a blocked PAT attempt. Okay? Guys, big play in the game. Because if he doesn't block that, the Bengals come back and win the game with 1 second left. He blocks the PAT attempt. He did it all this game. From an eye test standpoint, he flashed this game. He did it all. Okay? Seriously, he's one of the best safeties in the league right now. Okay? He did it all. The only thing I didn't like about Minkah this game was the, helmet being off and, because the refs will throw a flag for, having your helmet off, celebrating the way he did off the PAT attempt. Nice play. But you don't want to get put in a 15-yard penalty to where, you hurt your team in the game. Lucky that wasn't the case, but got away with one there, okay? Just want to point that out there. Anthony Highsmith stepped up, 3 sacks, helped some of the pressure off TJ Watt. He stepped right in, okay? Cam Hayward did a good job this game. TJ Watt, before he got hurt, got a sack, and he got an interception off Joe Burrow, okay? That's a really good sign that TJ Watt is able to impact the game, not from a pass rushing standpoint, but he can play the run, and he can drop a little in coverage. I watched him a little bit in college at Wisconsin. He can drop a little bit in coverage, but he got to pick on Joe Burrow, okay? He's getting better, though. All right, he's definitely one of the best defensive players in football right now, okay? It sucks, though, that he's out 6 weeks. Now, the good news is he doesn't need surgery, but he's definitely going to be out this week, and, huge loss for the Steelers, but at least it's not to where he needs surgery. If he needed surgery, he would have been done for the year, okay? So that was a big break the Steelers got, but sucks that he's out 6 weeks, all right? He would have had another monster season if he could have stayed fully healthy again. All right? They did have 7 sacks as a team, 4 interceptions. Okay? Pittsburgh's making a case to be one of the best defenses in football early. Okay? And this is what you need to get after the quarterback and to take away the ball and cash in. Okay? But the main reason the Steelers will win games this year is because of their defense. We had Joey on last week. Okay? I asked him, I said, does he think the Steelers make the playoffs? He doesn't. But they have the talent to make it happen on defense to where the defense can help them win games. That might be their only hope, is if they don't turn the ball over and they win games with their defense. Don't forget, we all know Pittsburgh's known for defense. You can go back to the 70s. You can go back to the Blitzburg 90s days. Okay? You can go back to the early 2000 days. They were known for defense. Okay? This is what the Steelers are. Defense and physicality. That's what the Steelers are. And this game showed it. All right? 4-15 on third down. This is where you're going to have to beat them. They were not a great offense. This was not a great offensive game for them. 4-15 on third down. 8 penalties. That's a lot, especially late in the game on the Bengals' last drive. They committed an illegal contact, a couple defensive pass interferences, just killer penalties late in the game you don't want to do. Now, I do hope you do it against us this week, but down the road, you can't have that stuff happen, okay? So, just want to point that out there, okay? 7 offensive drives they had resulted in punts. Their offense isn't going to wow people. Like I said, they're going to win games because of their defense. But their offense is not that great. They have some big talent at the receiver position. Tight end's good. Running back's good. Trubisky's a quarterback that's gotten to the playoffs, but he's been more of a game manager. Just his role's not to mess it up, especially with that putrid offensive line they have. Okay? They actually did okay this week. But that line still remains a concern for me. But, again, defense won them this game. Speaking of the Bengals, Joe Burrow, 33 of 53, 338 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Now, guys, just think about this for a minute, okay? In the first half, you could argue that was Burrow's worst half of his career. Yet, they were down 17-6. I think he threw all 4 interceptions in the first half, I want to say. Okay? One of them was a pick 6. And yet, he almost came back and won the game. He almost came back and won the game for them. If not for a missed PAT attempt. Think about that. Think about that for just a second. What that tells me about Joe Burrow. And that's a great quality to have. For him to forget that awful first half he played and to just come right back in, still battle, and still put his team in a position to win the game. And they would have won it had it not been for a missed PAT attempt. Think about that. That's a sign of a great quarterback building something. And he's only in his 3rd year in the league. And they just went to the Super Bowl last year. Big stepping stone. I know this game, the Bengals are not feeling good. Totally understand. But this is a good building block for Joe Burrow to have confidence that he can still put his team in a position to come back at any point in the game where the great ones can. He's going to be really great at some point. This is a building block for him. This game showed me a trait that very few elite quarterbacks have. He had that in this game, okay? Now, Joe Mixon, 27 carries, 82 yards, 7 catches for 63 yards. He did it all. Ran the ball, caught the ball out of the backfield, okay? Now, Jamar Chase caught the game-winning touchdown, and he had the game-tying touchdown. He had 10 catches for 129 yards. I don't know if you guys saw this picture, but I know Pro Football Focus tweeted it. I think he gave the middle finger at Minka. I don't know if that was off the game-tying touchdown. Maybe it was early in the game, something like that. But the Steelers-Bengals rivalry is real, okay? But Jamar Chase had the game-tying touchdown. He had another big monster game. 10 catches, 129 yards, and a touchdown. Tyler Boyd had a receiving touchdown against him. It feels like he's always going off against the Steelers lately. Okay? They were 1 of 3 on 4th down. That's a killer. All right? That's a killer. 2 of 5 in the red zone. 5 turnovers. And their offensive line gave up 7 sacks. They got a lot of work to do this week. And knowing Zach Taylor, and I expect them to get those things fixed. The Bengals did address their offensive line in the offseason. They got some pieces, Ted Karras from the Patriots, and they got an offensive lineman from the Bucs. I want to say, I forgot. Oh, Alex Kappa, that's his name, from the Bucs. So they built the line. It's going to take time for them to build chemistry, but 5 turnovers and 7 sacks allowed, and you almost win the game. That's rare that happens. That's rare. But that blocked PAT, we're having a whole different conversation if the Bengals make that extra point. Okay? The little plays in a game can sometimes define a season. Okay? It happened times for other teams last year. These are the little bits and pieces that you wish went one way or the other. It happens for every team. It does. Eagles and the Lions. Jalen Hurts did okay. 18 for 32, 243 yards, 12 carries for 90 yards, or 17 carries, 90 yards and a touchdown. Okay. Again, building. He's building something, okay? Not efficient, nothing crazy. And he has a rapport with A.J. Brown, who had 10 catches, 155 yards. They still found their recipe to win games, running the football. They were the number one rushing attack last season. They're still building on that. Miles Sanders, 13 carries, 96 yards and a touchdown. Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott had a rushing touchdown each. Jalen Hurts ran one in, okay? Dallas Goedert stepped up as the second option, three catches for 60 yards. And their defense, we said, they're loaded. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, half a sack each. James Bradbury, the difference in the game. 27-yard pick six. They only won by 3. That's 6 points on the board for the Eagles. Another play that defines a game. Okay? There's plays we're seeing that define the close games. Okay? Notice this is going to be a common theme. So we're going over recaps. Okay? 10 penalties, though, for 61 yards. 10 penalties is a lot. Okay? You're just lucky it was only for 61 yards, but still some area of corrections to work on. The Lions. I don't get this. I don't see it with Jared Goff. I'm sorry. He's just okay. I'm shocked the Lions did not try to look for a veteran like a Jimmy Garoppolo or somebody out there better. I don't see the Jared Goff hype they have. Okay, Hard Knocks, give me a break. 21 of 37, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. The interception that changed the game. Okay? Jared Goff's just not the guy. All right? DeAndre Swift, 15 carries, 144 yards, and a touchdown. Jamal Williams ran 2 scores in. They can run the football. And they have some young playmakers. When Jamison Williams gets back, he's going to be a dynamo on the field. Amon-Ra St. Brown stepped up really big for them late last season. Okay, he caught a touchdown in this game. DJ Chark from Jacksonville comes over. Nice big body, physical receiver. Okay? Tracy Walker had 9 tackles. He had a sack. Young defensive player making a name for himself. Aiden Hutchinson to pair him up with from Michigan, the rookie. Okay? But the Lions do Lion things. 7 penalties for 65 yards. And the 1 turnover was the deciding factor of the game, the difference in the game. Killer turnover, pick 6. And that put points on the board for the other team. Imagine you don't turn that over. We may have a different conversation. Dan Campbell's pleading with them to win games on Hard Knocks. That's why. That's why. That one play can change a game. And it happened for the Eagles. James Bradbury, pick 6. New England and Miami. Ah, man. Where do I start? Seriously, where do I start with my team? Seriously. I watched this game painfully, even though I should have been watching the Steeler-Bengal game, but I'm a Patriot fan. I want to watch my team's games. Mac Jones, I watched the film myself. 21 of 30 for 213 yards, a touchdown and an interception. The interception, they got away with a PI call. Okay, they got away with a PI call. Xavier Howard's literally grabbing Devontae Parker's jersey. Okay, if you see the sideline angle of the play. And if the ref had eyes and seen that, would have been first and goal on the 1-yard line. No, they took points off the board for us, and Javon Holland takes the ball past the 20. I mean, I don't blame Mac for the pick. The refs missed the PI call. Just saying. It's first and goal on the 1. We would have cashed that in. Okay? The offensive line sucks. Now, there were missed blocks I heard in training camp that translated into this game. Trent Brown, he's a good tackle. He's not a great tackle. He's good, okay? He played right tackle for us. He's playing left tackle for us now. He's good. Damn, how do you miss a blitz pickup where they come in from the blind side and hit him and they get 7 points off that one play alone? You can't miss that. He's got to see the safety coming his side. He snuck up on him. Whoop! Right there. Ah, man. And then you have the missed block where Agba gets a sack. I mean, this is the pains that we had in camp. It translated in damn Miami. Okay? Now, going back to Mac Jones, the deep balls, I watched the film. I heard they dropped the edge guys and they made him force him to go deep. Where the Dolphins were playing a very physical style defense, and it was basically deep balls in traffic, and they were just basically hoping to get a flag, which they weren't. If they didn't call a PI on Howard first series of the game, you know they're not going to call many. Yet when the emphasis of the league officials is to call more illegal contact, yeah, we could have sure used some of those this game because there were a few that they missed. Anyway, that's not the reason why we lost the game, okay? Ty Montgomery did have a touchdown, and now I hear he's on IR. So that means more Ramondre Stevenson, more Damian Harris, and maybe some Pierre Strong time. Kendrick Bourne, I heard was out for 3.5 quarters, and I read into this. Why, Bill? Why is he out 3.5 quarters? Why is he telling the media, oh, I didn't give the coaches enough for what they need to see? I'm hearing it goes back to when he missed the preseason game against Carolina for a team walkthrough or some shit. What? And okay, that if you're gonna do him for that game, that makes sense. But to do an issue from damn near 2, 3, 4 weeks after that game was played, that's no excuse for him not to play game 1. I'm hearing he's the 4th best receiver on our team. Tyquan Thornton's on IR. He's out 6 damn weeks because of a freaking collarbone. So who we got? Jacoby Myers. Now, he did his job. He did good. Okay, Devontae Parker, he was a no-show. Okay? So, 4th best receiver. Who's he 4th over? Like, what? Bill, I get it. It's your team, and it's your world we live in. You can't do this game 1 when you clearly can't move the ball. You can move the ball, but you got to be able to get your best playmakers in to put the damn ball in. You only did it for 1 drive. No excuse for him sitting out 3.5 quarters. Are you kidding me? Get over your arrogance and stubbornness, okay? You're costing our team games if you keep doing this. Remember Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl against the Eagles? Don't do that again. But we know him. He could do it again. I don't know what that's all about. But here's the real reason we lost the game. When you turn the ball over 3 times, I just forgot his name. Nelson Aguilar fumbled. Okay? He was over Kendrick Bourne. He didn't do much. Okay? But they're fixable. Yes. But you're not going to win a game when you commit 3 turnovers in a game and you can't protect Mac Jones, let alone a new blocking scheme. And this is what we get for hiring a fucking idiot at offensive coordinator who's never called offense in his life. This is the result we get. This is the result we get. Okay? The defense did its part. Outside of a 4th and 7 penalty, 4th and 7 call where Jalen Waddle freaking burns 3 guys in the end zone, okay, on a slant pattern on 4th and 7. That's the only bad play the defense had. Other than that, the defense did its job, okay? 3 sacks, Dietrich Wise, Matt Judon, Jawan Bentley, Kyle Duggar. He caught my eye this game. He was blowing up the runs like a middle linebacker. They're running like their outside zone, toss scheme that they come from the Shanahan tree. And Kyle Duggar just hits it. He hits it like a middle linebacker. Hits him right in the gap. I like that. Caught my eye. But he did take ownership for the bad 4th and 7 play. I like those guys that no one, it's their fault, okay? Good. Take ownership. I like that, okay? He said he didn't really play all that great. Not bad, but there was good to this game, okay? 4 of 9 on third down. That's also not going to help. Let's get to Miami's side. I'm still not impressed with Tua. I'm still not, okay? This was the game where I wanted to see maybe if I was wrong. No, I'm not impressed with Tua still. I'm not, okay? You know, you had your nickel and dime plays where, you know, he loves the underneath shit, you know, and he had maybe a couple 15-yard plays. Nothing really over the top that he threw. Like everybody was saying, oh, look at the bomb Tua throws to Tyreek and Jalen Waddle in practice. Didn't see a whole lot of that this first week. Okay? 23-33 for 270 yards and a touchdown. Okay? The run game didn't do much. Mostert, Chase Edmonds. If anything, it was because of the missed tackles we had. All shit that are on our side, it's fixable. But the run game didn't do much. Tyreek, 8 catches for 94 yards. And goddamn it, guys, did I not call it last week? Did I not call it when I talked about my team, about us with the undersized corners, our history? Damn it, Jack Jones, you're the first victim of the year. Week 1 of the Patriots undersized corners Moss highlight reel. Tyreek Hill mossing Jack Jones. It happened again. Like, what is with our undersized corners getting on a weekly Moss highlight reel? Are you kidding me? This is just the start of week 1. We're fucking versing Chase Claypool and George Pickens next week. They're 6'3" and 6'4". They're gonna put our corners under another Moss highlight reel. Okay? And Tyreek did it, and he's 5'10". Oh my God. And Jalen Waddle, four catches for 69 yards and a touchdown. Oy vey, man. We couldn't take them 2 away. And we thought we had Waddle up until the 4th and 7. Ah, killer. But those 2 guys did what they had to do. 2 sacks Miami had. Melvin Ingram, he had the fumble recovery for a touchdown. Javon Holland, I mentioned the pick. They were 0 for 2 in the red zone, though. That's something that they didn't really impress me with. I think we held them to 2 field goals. That's huge, okay? So that's a plus for our defense, but for them, that's something they're going to work on. But overall, not that impressed with Miami. Still not sold on Tua, still not impressed with him. And if anything, this was the game he maybe could have changed the way that, okay, maybe he's not a bust. I'm still not that sold on him. Still not that impressed. Ravens and the Jets. Lamar Jackson, 17 of 30, 213 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. This notion of these people that get mad that say Lamar can't throw, chill the fuck out. Calm down. It's the damn Jets, okay? He had 1 bomb to Rashad Bateman. Bravo. He's going to throw 1 deep ball a game. But this notion that we're saying, oh, take that to the Lamar can't throw crowd. Chill the fuck out. It's the Jets, okay? This is the typical Jets, okay? Maybe get me there to with Chiefs when he does it, or Buffalo, or somebody else that's an elite team. The Packers, the Rams, Tampa. Don't give me the Jets. He can't throw. Please, it's the Jets. You should be able to throw 1 deep ball for a touchdown against them. Come on. Give me a fucking break. Run game didn't do much for a team that's run heavy, okay? Rashad Bateman had a 55-yard touchdown. Speaking of the Lamar touchdown pass. Devin Duvernay, 2 receiving touchdowns. Looks like he's his next go-to guy when Hollywood Brown left them for the Cardinals. Still not sold on this offense. I don't think this is a sustainable offense for them to win and go far in the playoffs. I don't see it, okay? The league is slowly figuring out how to stop the Ravens in instances, okay? 2019, it all started with that Titans playoff game. And since then, they haven't quite been that team that was a juggernaut in 2019, where they won like 13 straight games or some shit, okay? Or 12 straight games, whatever the thing was. They have not recaptured that dominance since, okay? they are slowly figuring out Lamar Jackson. And that all comes with off-season tape. Okay? Now, the defense, big part. They had 3 sacks, 11 quarterback hits. Marcus Williams, a free agent pickup from the Saints, safety. 10 tackles and an interception. What a debut for him with the Ravens to pair with the rookie Kyle Hamilton. And they have Chuck Clark still as a reserve safety. 5 of 13 on third down. Ravens did what they were supposed to do. Speaking of the Jets. Joe Flacco, 37 of 59 for 307 yards, a touchdown, an interception. I don't get why they made him throw 59 times in a game. 59 times in a game? Like, Joe Flacco? What? I mean, you drafted Breece Hall. You drafted... Well, you have Michael Carter, who's a stud at running back. Why don't you, this is the Jets. That's what I've been accustomed. This is the Jets, and they're the Jets for a reason. Okay? Michael Carter, speaking of, 10 carries for 60 yards. Okay? Tyler Conklin had the lone touchdown for them. 2 of 14 on third down. Typical Jets stat line. 6 penalties. Doesn't that still scream Jets? I think so. 2 turnovers and 3 sacks allowed on Flacco. Imagine when Wilson gets back. I mean, damn. I think Mekhi Becton's out for the year too, so that's a big loss. But they signed Dwayne Brown, and now he's hurt. Like I said, typical Jets. That's them for you. Jaguars and the Washington Commanders. Another take I'm gonna get laughed out of the building for. I know I took the Jaguars, but listen, I don't regret it. I still liked it. Okay? I won't backtrack it. Nope. Okay? Trevor Lawrence showed improvement. This is the upgrade of Doug Peterson from Urban Meyer. This showed. Okay? 24-42, 275 yards, touchdown and interception. James Robinson looking like the guy in Jacksonville that they're trying to give more touches to. Right? He had 11 carries for 66 yards and a receiving touchdown. Christian Kirk, the first $20 million receiver, 6 catches, 117 yards. Zay Jones, 6 catches for 65 yards. Complimentary receivers stepping up for a team that's trying to build something. Okay? Trayvon Walker, the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft, had a sack and an interception. What a way to start your first regular season game. I mean, now we see a little upside, but now it's how you continue to build off that game. But a good debut for the number 1 overall draft pick. Okay? Pass defense, though, outside of Trayvon Walker, it was brutal. 28 points allowed. They were 3 of 12 on third down on offense. That's going to get better with, repetitions of Lawrence understanding his guys with the new offensive scheme Peterson's putting in. 13 penalties for 90 yards, almost a full football field. That's a lot of damn penalties. And considering how close of a ball game this was with Washington, that's going to come back to bite you. Okay? 2 of 5 in the red zone. And 3 missed opportunities. Speaking of. Turnover on downs, a missed field goal, and an interception. Killer drives. One of those goes your way, completely different conversation. Missed opportunities hurt you in this league. And that hurt the Jaguars to steal a game on the road. Okay? Speaking of Washington Commanders, Carson Wentz. I'm not going to say he did great. He did okay. All right? 27 for 41, 313 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's capable of having that one big game. That one great game. But ask me that when he throws 3 or 4 dumb-headed interceptions. Because that's coming, Washington, whether you want to accept it or not. That's just Wentz's history for you. Okay? The run game was okay. Terry McLaurin, underrated receiver in the league. 49-yard receiving touchdown. Okay? Jahan Dotson, the rookie out of Penn State. 2 receiving touchdowns, including a clutch one late in the game. All right? Curtis Samuel. He can run the ball. He had eight catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown. The defense, minus Chase Young, 2 sacks and an interception. Okay? 3 turnovers as a team, 6 penalties. Stuff for them they'll clean up in practice, but tough one with the Lions next week. All right? But the NFC East all got a win except for the Cowboys, which we'll get into. We're going to talk about the Giants momentarily. Browns and the Panthers. Oh, man. Carolina missed an opportunity to win this game. Okay? But let's get to the Browns first. Jacoby Brissett didn't really wow anybody. Another typical game manager quarterback. 18 of 34, 147, touchdown. He doesn't have to do a lot. There's a reason they have 2 running backs. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, right? And, Nick Chubb put up over 100 yards. 22 for 141. Hunt, 11 carries, 46 yards, rushing and receiving touchdown in the game. Myles Garrett, talk about elite edge rushers. 2 sacks in this game against the rookie Ikwanu. Okay? 4 team sacks on the day for Cleveland. 1 of 4 in the red zone. They won by 2. I know they got it done, but that's ugly. 9 penalties. The Browns do commit a lot of penalties. 71 yards, though. A lot of penalties for Cleveland, and they couldn't quite cash in the red zone. It's going to be tough for a team that has Watson suspended 11 games. Speaking of the former Browns quarterback, Baker Mayfield. 16 of 27, 235 yards, touchdown, and an interception. You know who Baker Mayfield reminds me of? He's got a little Daniel Jones in him. He does. But the difference is Baker Mayfield's won a playoff game. Daniel Jones hasn't. But Baker Mayfield's got some Daniel Jones in him. Okay? And I'm not that impressed with him. I know it was his first game with a new team and he got traded there in June. But still, not impressed this game. He had weapons around him. Robbie Anderson helped out with a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey couldn't get a lot going on the ground, but he did get in the end zone, 10 carries, 33 yards. Run game didn't do much outside of McCaffrey. Okay? I said Robbie Anderson, 5 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown. The defense, though, did not help him out either. So, it wasn't all on Mayfield. They gave up 26, right? They had 1 sack. Granted, the Browns are a top offensive line, but they have Brian Burns. They have Shaq Thompson. They have studs on defense. Derek Brown in the middle. But 1 sack they can only muster against Jacoby Brissett? Come on, man. 4 of 11 on 3rd down. Not great. 8 penalties for 96 yards. Again, with these penalties that are almost a full football field. 8 penalties you had for almost a full football field. Matt Rule's team commits a lot. That's a lot of penalties for a lot of yardage. 100 yards that kind of separated the game for you guys. You lost by 2, okay? And you turned the ball over once. You lost a turnover battle. That hurts. Colts and the Texans. We got a tie in week 1. A tie. Ugh, no. Come on, man. A tie. No. Matt Ryan, 32 of 50 for 352 yards and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor was same guy. Okay? 31 carries, 161 yards and a touchdown. Okay? Michael Pittman, 9 catches, 121 yards and a touchdown. Okay? Kwity Paye, the sophomore pass rusher out of Michigan, 2 sacks for him. Up to 3 team sacks. 7 penalties for the Colts, 89 yards, 2 turnovers. They're going to work on that. 4 missed opportunities in a game that ended up tied. 4! We talked about 3 with Atlanta. 4 the Colts had in a freaking game. Okay? A turnover on downs being the first of them. Okay? Going in. All right? A fumble. Okay? They had an interception. And then they had a missed field goal. Now, I get it. The Matt Ryan interception, I know he's going to have him. The fumble, you're going in Texan territory, though. Okay, I think. But I know the turnover on downs. Frank Reich, and I know he's an analytics guy. Damn it, this is why analytics kill the game. Because if you kick the damn field goal, you're not tied. You're not tied. You're in sole possession of your own division, and you blew it because analytics, these coaches, I'm telling you, it bit Brandon Staley in the ass last season. And I hope it doesn't cost Frank Reich his job because he's a good coach. But damn it, that playoff game, you guys remember the Bills playoff game 2 years ago where he went for it, 4th and goal at the 2 with Phillip Rivers at quarterback in Buffalo? Difference in the game. You kick that field goal, whole different conversation. Analytics are winning the game. And it hurt Frank Reich and the Colts this game. All right? Now, the Texans. All right? They didn't have as many missed opportunities as the Colts did, but Davis Mills did okay. Nothing special. 23 of 37, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns. Run game did okay. I was shocked Dameon Pierce disappointed me. Rex Burkhead did most of the passing game work because they were mostly throwing, but yet they were up, 20-3 at one point? No excuse. You should be able to run the football. Okay? O.J. Howard, 2 receiving touchdowns, stepped up. Brandon Cooks, 7 catches for 82 yards. Jerry Hughes, it's weird because he got drafted by the Colts, and yet he's got something against him. 2 sacks and an interception. I guess we know when Jerry Hughes will go off. He's a former Colt. He's going to go off against his former team. That explains. 5 of 15 on 3rd down, 6 penalties, and the 1 turnover. If any of those things go another way, you don't end up in a tie. And I hate ties. I can't stand them. Okay? This was the worst thing to happen. Okay? But more, the Colts fans should be pissed than the Texans fans. Okay? Giants and the Titans. Oh, God, man. I know. I fake everybody by picking the Giants to win the division. I'm not backing off that. I'm not doing it. Congrats. You threw a party in the locker room. Okay? Like you won the whole damn thing. A long 10, 11 years ago. Gotta remind you all. Okay? Dale Jones was efficient. Okay? Dayball put the ball in the real best player's hands. Saquon Barkley. Okay? Who saved your asses. Okay? 18 carries for 164 and a touchdown. The real guy that should be getting the ball. Not Dale Jones. Okay? So you guys better be damn happy. Ownership didn't trade Saquon Barkley. He saved your asses. He saved your asses. Okay? So you better thank ownership that they didn't trade him. That's really who you should be giving the ball more. They should be going through him more. Dayball saw that. Okay? Just saying, Giants fans. Just saying. Okay? Sterling Shepard had a 65-yard touchdown. Brandon Myrick, he had a touchdown. Defensively, didn't impress me that much. They did have the 1 sack. No, I get it. Kayvon Thibodeau was out. But 1 sack they were able to get against that putrid Titans line from last year that I told you if you can beat them for sacks, you muster 1. And you have Wink Martindale, who's a blitzing defensive coordinator. I don't get it. Okay? Now, but they gave up 20 points allowed. They had 1 fumble recovery. They had 5 sacks allowed, the Giants line. And I don't know if Evan Neal played this game or not, but that line is still a mess. Okay? That line is still a mess. 2 of 10 on 3rd down, 2 turnovers, 8 penalties. But you caught a lucky break. And you got to thank Brian Daboll for that 2-point conversion. Okay, I know Saquon said on the Manning cast, we got new life in the locker room. You should. You've been shit for the last 10 years or so. You have 1 playoff appearance. That's all you can say. Okay? I'll let you have your moment. But I'm just saying you got lucky. 2-point conversion saved you. The missed field goal. Okay? I'm just saying. You caught a lucky break. All right? 2 missed opportunities. They had a fumble and then the interception in the red zone. I think Daboll learned, do not let Daniel Jones throw the ball in the red zone because he'll throw a red zone pick. All right, I'm just saying, the Giants know what they have to do. They have to feed Saquon Barkley, and that's the real guy they should be going through. Not Daniel Jones, okay? But it's good to see Saquon do good, though. It is, okay? Ryan Tannehill for the Titans. 20 of 33, 266 yards, 2 touchdowns. Okay. Again, I've been saying this about Tannehill. He's not going to wow you, okay? He's just going to do okay, all right? Again, game manager role. Derrick Henry, full year now to recover from that foot injury. He looked all right. He looked okay, all right? 21 carries, 82 yards. Shocked that he didn't get 100, but again, it happens to these running backs. They're not going to get 100 yards every game, okay? Dontrell Hilliard, 2 receiving touchdowns, stepping up as a pass-catching back for them. Weaver and Simmons had 4 of the team's 5 sacks. Amani Hooker, speaking of the Daniel Jones interception, he picked that off. Okay? Missed field goal to win the game. Okay, so that's the big missed opportunity. 3 of 11 on third down, 7 penalties, and the muff punt. The only good thing about that muff punt was you redeemed yourselves with a red zone pick. But that muff punt could have been very disastrous if the Giants know how to cash in, and they eventually did later in the game. But I'm just saying, there's some fixable mistakes in week 1, and it happens to everybody. They'll get this shit fixed. Vrabel knows what he's doing, okay? Packers and the Vikings. Finally, one good game I could feel good I picked an upset for, okay? Because all the other games I picked were not, well, not all the other games. Most of these other games are not great. This one I feel good about, though. All right. Speaking of the teams that did not play in the preseason, Aaron Rodgers, you should have played in the preseason. How about take ownership for not getting better rapport and better understanding of your receivers instead of flipping out on the sidelines of a guy dropping a wide open touchdown? You need to build their confidence. You need to step up and take a damn leadership role. Okay? Because you looked rusty in preseason. Zero excuse for that week 1 performance. You should have played preseason so you can get reps with these receivers, build some confidence, build some rapport, and you're going to need them down the stretch. That shit you pulled week 1 is exactly the issues everybody's got with you. You have to take ownership and be able to show patience. And I don't think he's got that. I don't. I'm being honest. All right? He looked rusty, and he's got to take ownership for that part. He didn't play well. Okay? A.J. Dillon had the rushing touchdown. The run game did all right. They didn't run the ball more because they were mostly trailing in the game. All right? The wide receivers didn't help because of the lack of preseason reps with Aaron Rodgers. See how things correlate? That's why they didn't look good. Because they had no reps with their starting quarterback. They don't know because they don't know how to get on the same page with Aaron Rodgers. That's what the preseason's for. With an issue like that. But no, they take advantage of it because Aaron Rodgers wants to sit out the preseason. Just saying, that's why you sucked week 1. That's why you couldn't score and move the ball all day. All right? Offensive line, 4 sacks allowed. I know Bakhtiari was out, but still, that Aaron Rodgers line, that's a problem when you have receivers that don't know what they're doing and the line can't get on the same page. Not a good sign. Defense sucked. 23 points allowed. They could not cover Justin Jefferson. Jair Alexander's an all-pro corner. Eric Sosa's a stud. Kevin King, I know they pick on him, but they have good defensive backs. Rasul Douglas was a really good player for them. He had, 6 interceptions last season? Where were they? They were no-shows. Okay? No takeaways. 3 of 9 on third down. 0 for 2 on the money down. And 1 for 3 in the red zone. Stuff you could easily work on. And 2 turnovers. And 2 missed opportunities, which were turnover on downs in Minnesota territory. Granted, this game wasn't close, but still. This is why, with a team like the Packers, with an experienced quarterback and young receivers, that's why you need to play in the preseason. And it showed how rusty they were this game. Okay? Now let's get to the Vikings, who actually picked to win the game. Kirk Cousins actually looked pretty good in Kevin O'Connell's offense. 23 of 32, 277 yards, 2 touchdowns. Run game, combined with Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison, 28 carries, 126 yards. About 4.5 yards a carry. That'll work. That'll work. If you can run the football to help support your passing game, that's a great sign. Okay? Justin Jefferson, 9 catches for 184 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had a monster game. Made a claim to being not only a top receiver in the game, but the best receiver in the game. Okay? He's a stud. Coming out of LSU, I really liked him. Every year he's been in the league, he's taking a step up. I think he's taking a major leap this year. Okay? He showed up. Like the defense. Okay? The defense showed up too. 7 points allowed. 4 sacks. A fumble recovery. Harrison Smith picked off Aaron Rodgers. That's what the defense needs. They just got to be better. And they were. Okay? They were 4-13 on third down, which it's all right, but they'll work on it. 1 of 3 in the red zone. They'll work on O'Connell and them. They got an extra day to prepare for the Eagles on Monday night. But this is a good sign for the Vikings because the Packers are the big, bad, tough guys in the division. They got a game in Minnesota where they beat. Now, how far can they go toe-to-toe with them? Because they got them one more time in Green Bay. So that's going to be a big, interesting matchup later in the season if they're ready to take down the big, bad Packers in Lambeau Field. Okay? Chiefs and the Cardinals. Patrick Mahomes, 30 of 39, 360 yards, 5 touchdowns. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do against the Cardinals. The Cardinals, I said, were an awful team. I said this was blowout material. I guaranteed 30 points they were getting. Cardinals are awful on defense. They lost a lot. J.J. Watt's injury prone. They lost, Chandler Jones, the opposite pass rusher. They're just not that good of a defense. They're very thin, okay? Isaiah, let me get his name right. Pecero, forgive me for butchering it. 12 carries, 62 yards and a touchdown. Travis Kelce, 8 for 121 and a touchdown. Kelsey's back to being number 1 option, right? And Clyde Edwards-Helaire finally found his little role. 2 receiving touchdowns out of the backfield. McCall Hardman had a touchdown. Fortson had a touchdown. Now, one thing I will give Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid credit for is they too had a young group of receivers, a new cast of receivers. And they actually played in the preseason and actually got reps where they actually look good to get in a rhythm so that they could build on a game like this. Okay? That's one good thing they did do, unlike the Packers did. Just saying. Big difference between how they won a game and how you lost a game. That's how you handle a young group of receivers, Aaron Rodgers, or a new group of receivers. Actually get some preseason reps to get used to them, to get in a rhythm with them, so that they're prepared for a week 1 game to build their confidence. That's what the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, and Andy Reid did. Okay? Just saying. Defense did their job. 3 sacks, 21 points allowed. Okay, but they helped Kyler Murray some 3-and-outs. They got pressure on him and Trace McSorley when it was a blowout. 5 of 8 on third down. That will get it done. Like I said, the Chiefs are going to be tough to beat. And the only way to beat Patrick Mahomes is to keep him on the sideline and get their offense off the field on third down. Okay? That's your only hope. And you got to hope Mahomes beats himself with mistakes. A la the Cincinnati AFC Championship game. Kyler Murray, 22 of 34, 193, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he did all right. James Conner, rushing touchdown. Okay? Picked up where he left off last year. Right? Running game did okay. Hollywood Brown, Zach Ertz, receiving touchdown each. Okay? Defense did not help them at all. No, I get it. The Arizona defense is not great. But all they mustered was 1 fumble recovery, and they had the 1 missed opportunity, 4th and 2, they throw a deep pass. Like Cliff Kingsbury. And this is why I took the Chiefs. Huge coaching mismatch from Andy Reid and all the way down here, Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury sucks. He does. All right, he's not somebody that's going to win a matchup of coaching. He's just not. He has some very questionable head-scratching calls. And this was the biggest coaching mismatch of the weekend. Andy Reid did laps around him. That's how bad it was. Okay? But 3 of 12 on third down, 5 penalties. They just couldn't finish drives, and Arizona's not going to be that good this year. I'm telling you. I'm not saying it's just based off this one game. I said it in the preseason. They're not making the playoffs. They're not going to be that good. I stand by that. Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. Watched a little bit of this game. Watched a little bit of the Chiefs game. Watched the end of the Giants game. But I watched a little bit of the Vegas Chargers game. Derek Carr, with all the weapons he had around him, he didn't look good. Okay? Another guy that did not play in the preseason. Okay? Now I get it. I know the reasoning. You don't want to get your stars hurt. But the fact that there was no rhythm and reps to get into a groove hurt them as well. Okay? And 3 interceptions, 27 to 37 for 295, 2 touchdowns. 3 interceptions hurt them so bad, and a couple of them were in the red zone. You just took points off the board, and you lost by 5. Like, this is why it's important. And points in red zone interceptions, especially in a one-score game, they're killers for you. Josh McDaniels knows this going back to his New England days when he had Tom Brady and he worked with a young Mac Jones and he's been in the Belichick tree forever. He knows this. Derek Carr's got to understand, you can't turn the ball in the red zone, okay? So he'll learn that's not good. Running game, 13 carries. They never established a running game with Jacobs, with Bolden. They never established an emphasis to run more. And I get it, they were mostly behind, but still, 13 times you only run the ball? That's not sustainable, okay? I get you want to be an aerial attack, but you got to establish more than 13 times you run the ball, all right? Devontae Adams still looks like the best receiver in football. 10 catches, 141 yards, and a touchdown, all right? Brandon Bolden caught a touchdown out of the backfield, all right? Defense sucked. I told you the one area of concern I have for the Raiders is their defense. 24 points allowed. They couldn't take the ball away. They couldn't get pressure on Justin Herbert. While their offensive line allowed 5 sacks, 3 of them to a former Raider in Khalil Mack. I'll get to Khalil Mack in just a second. But the Raiders line, they just cut Alex Leatherwood in preseason. And I get Alex Leatherwood is not a great lineman. Sure helps, though, if you have him, though, right? Okay. And 3 turnovers. 2 of them were missed opportunities. 2 red zone interceptions. Killers. That's something that you got to learn if you want to be a team that we take serious and take the next step. All right? Justin Herbert, though. He's helping out an MVP case. It's either him or Josh Allen right now. Mahomes is number 3, I would say. All right? 26 to 34, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. The running game with Eckler didn't help. Sony Michel, I don't know if he played, but they didn't help much. Receivers did okay. I know Keenan Allen got hurt. He's out for Thursday night. Khalil Mack against the Raiders. It's always against the Raiders. He's got some grudge, and I think it's because Gruden traded him. 3 sacks against his former team. 3. Joey Bosa had a sack and a half. Okay? They had 3 interceptions on the day. If Bosa and Derwin James can stay healthy, along with Khalil Mack, watch out. They're my pick to win the AFC West. If those guys can stay healthy, they can make a deep playoff run. They can make a deep playoff run if those guys stay healthy. Okay? Bucks and the Cowboys. Goatman, a.k.a. 5-star general, a.k.a. Tom Brady. Considering he was out 11 days, and I know he didn't play a lot of preseason either. He did get 1 series. He did, by Brady standards, not a great game, but he did all right. But by Brady standards, let's go, not great. But, 18 to 27, 212 yards. He had a touchdown. He did have a pick 6 that was low to the ground. Donovan Wilson caught it. Fournette, 21 carries, 127 yards. A good way to help Brady out with the running game and everything. And Mike Evans, 5 catches, 71 yards, and he had a nice catch in the end zone. Julio sprinkled in some big plays. They had the long, deep ball before the first half. Defense helped win the game. Devin White, as a middle linebacker, he had 2 sacks, 8 total tackles, 7 of them solo. Antoine Winfield Jr. had the pick. 3 points allowed against the Cowboys. 4 team sacks. 1 of 3 in the red zone. Brady and them will work on that on offense. The missed field goal. Bucs look sluggish, but their defense looks legit. Granted, we're going to get to the Cowboys in just literally a split second. But the Bucs defense, that's a good sign that they got better for opening week, considering the bad stretches they had last season where they really couldn't get pressure and they couldn't hold up in the back end. This was a good sign opening night. Okay? The offense will get better. Brady will get back in his groove. It's just taken him a long time since he was out 11-day hiatus and he sat out some preseason and he's got to get adjusted to game speed. He'll be fine. Trust me. I'm not overreacting there. Okay? Speaking of the Cowboys. Dak didn't look great when he was in. I don't know if it's because of the injured ankle. I don't know if it's because of the tumultuous turnover on the offensive line. Tyron Smith being out till November, December. Amari Cooper loss. I don't know. But he didn't look good at all. All right? 14 of 29. 154 passing yards, an interception. Zeke, 10 carries, 52 yards. I don't think they'll be able to run Zeke that well as the season goes on, especially now that Dak's out 6 to 8 weeks. I don't see them sustaining that, considering they're trying to split carries with Zeke and Tony Pollard, okay? Micah Parsons showed out, 2 sacks. Donovan Wilson had the interception. The only receivers that really showed up for Dallas were Noah Brown and Dalton Schultz, okay? The offensive line, considering the turnover, they had 4 sacks allowed. That's going to happen with the amount of turnover that they've had, right? 3 of 15 on third down. That's not great. I know there's a lot of factors that played into this, but they've got some stuff they got to figure out. McCarthy's going to have to figure out a way with these young receivers. Jalen Tolbert, they've got to get going. The young rookie from Memphis. They got to somehow figure a way to keep drives alive. They didn't do that. 2 of 5 on fourth down. Head scratchers. 2 missed opportunities. 10 penalties for 73 yards. Yikes, man. I mean, they got some work to do. And I know it's getting worse because Dak's out for 6 to 8 weeks. So they're in trouble. They're in trouble. I'm not saying the season's over because the NFC East, anything can happen. Broncos and Seahawks. Russ, again, joins the quarterbacks that looked rusty. New offense, new head coach, new group of receivers, new line. He looked rusty. Now, the stat line says 29 of 42, 340 yards, a touchdown. He did okay, but again, Seattle knew him, but still, he looked rusty. This is why preseason reps for certain guys are important, okay? Now, the running game, they coughed up some major turnovers. On the goal line, 2 of them we're going to get into. All right, Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon both coughed up plays in the red zone. Killer. All right, Jerry Jeudy, 4 catches, 102 yards. Javonte Williams had 11 balls he caught for 65 yards. Sutton, 4 catches for 72 yards. Bradley Chubb, finally healthy, 2 sacks, okay? 0 of 4 in the red zone. 0 of 4 in the red zone for Nathaniel Hackett. Now, he comes from Paul Hackett, great offensive mind. He's got to be kicking himself over that. 0 of 4 in the red zone. 12 penalties. They had a lot of penalties for over 100 yards, 106 yards. That's almost equivalent to Ed Reed's interception return for a touchdown against the Eagles in 2008. 12 penalties for 106 yards. Are you kidding me? Damn. 2 turnovers, 2 fumbles on the goal line. Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, you took a touchdown off the board. One of them was 4th and goal. Nathaniel Hackett, you're kicking yourself with a field goal that you should have went for it. Damn, you should have at least tried to get one of them a field goal looking back on it. But still, no excuse for that endgame clock management either. That was horrible. Nathaniel Hackett sold him this game. All right, I'm not sold him as a head coach. He watched Matt LaFleur take Aaron Rodgers off the field and go with a field goal in the NFC Championship game. Maybe that explains the questionable head coaching calls he had Monday night. All right? Just saying, that's brutal. All right? But that field goal, terrible call. He says he should have went for it on 4th down. You had 3 timeouts and you depleted the clock. Why not call one and get your best 4th down play? That's what you work on that shit for. Damn, that's brutal. The Seahawks, Geno Smith, 23 of 28, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was in like one of those Brett Favre zone games. When Favre was in the zone back in the day, man, he was on. Geno Smith had that kind of game Monday night. And that was shocking. I mean, Pete Carroll must have had one of his USC speeches. Boy, because they were fired up and ready to play at home in front of the 12th man. Jeez, okay? Didn't have much of a running game, okay? But Parkinson, Will Dissly caught a touchdown, each. The defense did really good. 2 sacks. And speaking of the 2 fumbles on the goal line, the same guy made both fumble recoveries. Mike Jackson, a cornerback from the Seahawks, a young corner, stepped up and got both fumbles. Young guy stepping up on a young team making plays. That's what you got to do when your number is called on to make a play. 2 fumbles on the goal line. He was on both of them. Good young player. 0 of 2 in the red zone on offense. And they had the one missed opportunity where it was 4th and 1 at the 7. I would not have gone for it. I would have taken a 3, because you were moving the ball really well. You scored a touchdown on that previous drive. But you gave Denver new life. And I understand Pete Carroll's confident in his defense at that point in the game. But take the points. You're not expected to win at home. Killer plays. All right, so that's the first edition of the Recapping with Rich. We got a lot we covered from week 1. Let's get into the week 2 picks. Week 1 last week, don't remind me of the record. I just got above 500, 8-7-1. Not bragging about it, okay? That was brutal. But week 2 is a new week. Scratch that shit off. Let's get into the new week, shall we? All right. Tomorrow night, Chiefs and the Chargers. Oh, I want to take the Chargers so bad, but J.C. Jackson might not play. Keenan Allen's out. Damn you lucky Chief bandwagons. Oh, all right. I got to pick them. I don't trust the Chargers without 2 key guys. I don't know if Brent Staley's going to do the same thing over and over again with the analytics. I just can't do it. I picked them twice last year to beat them. They failed. Oh, man. And then 2 big injuries. I can't. I got to go with the Chiefs. 30-27. You lucky break, Chief bandwagons. Trust me, the breaks won't come often. They won't. All right? Oh, you lucky bandwagons. You lucky. 2 lucky breaks. Oh, lucky the Chargers without 2 guys. I would have picked against you. All right? Browns and the Jets. 2 shit teams. Not expected to go far. Ah, man, I don't know about this game. I'm going to take the Browns because I trust them more. I don't trust the Jets. I'm going the Browns 23, the Jets 10. Lions and the Washington Commanders. Oh, man. Jared Goff or Carson Wentz. This is horrible, man. Are you kidding me? I don't know who to pick. Are you, no. I'm going with Jared Goff over Wentz. I just trust him. I know Jared Goff's gone farther. I can't believe I'm picking between 2 toilet bowl choices at quarterback. I'm going with the Lions 24-20. All right? Bucks and the Saints. This game's one of those games that could go either way because the Saints have Brady's number and they've beaten him since he's been to Tampa. They swept him both times in the regular season. But I feel like this is the game where Brady's due. He's got to get 1 game against the Saints in New Orleans. And I know the talk's going to be all over the media. Brady can't beat the Saints in the regular season. I'm telling you right now, guys, he's going to get them at least once. All right? I'm not doubting Goatman, but I would not be surprised if the Saints beat him. But I'm not betting against Brady. I'm going 23-20 Bucks over the Saints. Giants and the Panthers. I did say the Giants were going to lose week 1. I was wrong. Here's your curveball. I'm guaranteeing them to win. This is a guarantee, okay? The Giants are going to beat the Carolina Panthers. I think that the Giants, coming off an emotional win, they've got confidence. They haven't had that in years, okay? Home opener, they're going to be fired up to play in front of their fans. Matt Rule is under some major hot seat pressure, okay? Give me the Giants, 23. Give me the Panthers, 21. Patriots and the Steelers. TJ Watt's out. Huge break for the Patriots. Because if TJ Watt's playing, I'm taking the Steelers. But he's not. So, based on what we know, okay, I believe Mac Jones is going to be good. And I reserve the right to change this if Mac Jones suddenly decides not to go. All right? I trust him more over Mitchell Trubisky. I get the line and the issues we've had, but you don't think Belichick's going to come out next week and get this shit fixed. There's going to be a huge point of emphasis to not turn the ball over as much as we did, and this blocking scheme hopefully gets fixed, okay? And the defense, if they showed up like they did against Miami, we have a great shot to win. So I don't feel good about this because I don't know what to make of my team anymore. I don't have all the confidence in the world. As you see, I'm wearing my Patriot shirt. I'm taking us to win 17-14. Bet the under. All right? I'm telling you, this is going to be an under slugfest type game. Both offenses are tough to watch, but defenses are good on both sides. Give me the Patriots 17-14. Colts and Jaguars. Another place where the Colts can't seem to win, okay? And Matt Ryan, I don't think they'll end up in a tie. There's no way. John Taylor's a stud. The Jags are up and coming. I think Matt Ryan throws a party on the Colts. I mean, not the Colts, the Jaguars. Give me the Colts 28-20 over the Jaguars. Ravens and Dolphins. Tua or Lamar Jackson? I'm taking Lamar Jackson. John Harbaugh or young Mike McDaniel? John Harbaugh. So, I trust the Ravens to get pressure after Tua. I think that they have a better game plan for how to take away Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I don't think they're going to beat them that much with big plays. They can stop the running game. Their defense can get pressure on Tua. I like the Ravens to win in a low-scoring game, 20-14 over Miami. Rams and the Falcons. There's no way in hell the Rams go 0-2. No way. Rams bounce back. They're home. They know that they got to win a game. Atlanta played tough against the Saints, but the Saints and Rams, there's a huge gap, okay? I'm taking the Rams 34-20 over the Falcons. Niners and Seahawks. Niners have a must-win game. There's no way Geno Smith replicates that performance from Monday night. Seattle's coming off an emotional, long game, okay, short week, minus 1 day. So, Trey Lance, I think if he doesn't play well, don't be shocked to see Jimmy G in there. But if they're going to go Trey Lance, this is the perfect game to get right. I expect the Niners to win 20-17 over Seattle. Cincinnati and Dallas. Okay, Dak's out 6 to 8 weeks. Joe Burrow's coming off one of his worst games of his career. There's no way Joe Burrow doesn't stink it up 2 games in a row. Somebody's going to be 0-2, and I hate to say it, it's going to be the Cowboys. Give me the Bengals 30-17 over the Cowboys. Broncos and the Texans. No, okay, listen. Nathaniel Hackett, short week, home opener. Denver's got to win this game. If you go 0-2 and lose to the Texans, some major problems are going to be the sky's falling in Denver. But I'm taking them to win 23-13 over the Texans. Las Vegas Raiders and the Arizona Cardinals. Okay, Arizona's a better shot to win this game, but that's not who I'm picking. I think Derek Carr, this is the perfect get-right game. Home opener for them. Arizona's not very good. The Raiders have weapons that Arizona struggled to defend with Kansas City last week, and Kansas City does nowhere near the weapons that the Raiders have. I'm taking the Raiders 27-17. I am. I trust Derek Carr over Kyler Murray. I trust Josh McDaniels over Cliff Kingsbury. Difference in the game, 27-17, Raiders over the Cardinals. Packers and Bears on Sunday night. Rodgers owns the Bears. That's all I have to say. Rodgers owns the Bears. They're going to get right. The sky's not falling in Green Bay. Packers 41, Bears 14. Bills and Titans. Bills home opener. They have 10, 11 days of rest. Okay? Are they going to be able to keep the dominance going? That won't be a problem. I still see them dominating the Titans. I don't think the Titans are that great this year. I'm going Bills 38, Titans 13. Vikings, Eagles. I'm sticking with my train that I've been pounding this preseason. I took the Vikings to make the playoffs. I'm taking Minnesota to upset Philly in Lincoln Financial Field. Give me the Vikings 27-23 at Philadelphia. Those are my week 2 picks, guys. All right? Guys, thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Lounge Time. Make sure you hit that notification bell, hit subscribe so that way you can get all the latest episodes that we have. Tomorrow, we got Week 3 college football, guarantee it, and Week 2 NFL action. That includes Thursday night football, Sunday games, and 2 Monday night games. We're going to have that for tomorrow, but until then, I'll see you guys next time on the next episode of Lounge Time. Have a good night, everyone.